And welcome back to the Flow Sports Fix on this Thursday evening. We've got Courtney Sports Express coming up. We'll also be chatting with the Flow Man and the Stat Man about the 666 rule. Your 9 round 10 winners are on the way for you. But right now with the Flow Man, we're heading off to the river and getting some weekend selections.
Let's go firstly, though, to last week's Riverland Independent Games. There was a forfeit from Brownswell to Sedan Cambrai. Bit of a long road trip there for the Bomber boys, so they couldn't get the numbers together. And so the Magpies get the points without going out to play. A bit disappointing, though, for the folk at Cambrai who'd ready to put on a good show. Cobdogler got their first win in, over 1,000 days. 11-11-77 over Wonka, 8-9-57. The Bulldogs would be very disappointed with that loss. They would have went into that match as favourites. But Cobby, the Eagles, are they back? Well, I reckon they might be. Ramco, way too good for Blanchetown. Swan Reach, 18-18, 126 to 3-9-27. As we head down the river a bit further and we get to River Murray in round 8 action, Imperial's way too good for Maipolonga, 20 goals, 10, 130. Maipolonga 6-8, 44. It was a big win for Manum over Ramblers, not so much in the scoreline, but just to get that win, it puts them into a really big chance of keeping Ramblers out of the finals race, which they would have been looking to do, 10-16 to 9-8. Tailem Bend took on Meningi and kicked 27-23, 185 to 10-9-69. And for Tailem Bend here, it was interesting to see that one of their star players is Smelt, and he booted when these two sides met in the early season round. He actually booted on that occasion 14 goals. This time, when they kicked 27 goals instead of 28 that they kicked in the first time against Meningi, he kicked just the 1 goal. Interesting how games change through the season. Let's take a look now at some of the matches for the weekend. And if you're in the Mallee, I reckon that, like me, you'll be heading out and having a look at a match this weekend. I'm looking forward to Pinaroo taking on Karoonda. We'll be covering that on MFL TV. But the other matches, I think BDT taking on Peak. Peak need to get a win from somewhere. At Tintinara, it's going to be tough for them this weekend. Lameroo get Murrayville in the competition, the other game at Lameroo's home deck. What about these matches in the KNT? There's 2 absolute belters this weekend. Mundalla take on Bordertown, the old Tatiara rivals here, but Bordertown have improved this year and they'll certainly take it right up to the moots at the Swamp at Mundalla. Kingston get Keith, though, in a top-of-the-table clash at Kingston. How much have Kingston improved this year? Well, plenty, but Keith are going to have something to say about that. This is going to be a huge game of football. Warner for Kingston, Simmons for Keith. It's going to go down to the wire. Padthaway play Narracourt in another rivals game of KNT, a good weekend of matches. What about up in the Barossa Light and Gawler? Angaston get Gawler Central, and Gawler Central need to win against one of these top sides to keep their chances alive of finals football and defend their crown from 2020. The other match, Tanunda and Williston at Williston, a big opportunity for the Williston Donnybrooks to get a win at home, and Jars is going to have to do it against one of the top sides. Of course, you've got Westhoff's Tanunda as the opposition. As we go to Northeastern football, and this is a big clash, RSMU Hawks take on the BSR Tigers, and that's a big game of football. It's a top-of-the-table type clash. The BSR Tigers, they're going to travel down to Riverton. It's a road trip for them, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Hawks will be waiting for them in that navy blue Guernsey and might just beat those Tigers. Another great clash this weekend is the Southern Saints and Min Man, 2 rivals from just over the hill. It's at Robertstown out on the plains, and look out, Min Man, the Saints could be coming for you. This is going to be another great match this weekend. Over on the Eyre Peninsula, and I went to the Western Eyre, and this is going to be a terrific clash between the Blues and Kinniba, and both of them looking at this round 6 clash and hoping for a win to keep themselves up in that top 4. And I guess in calculation terms, the other 2 sides in 1 and 2, the West Coast Hawks and Western United, we're expecting that they both play away but should probably get convincing wins in their games, albeit Wirrala might have something to say about the big road trip that Penong will be making from up there down to the Wirrala Oval for the Bombers. Bombers to take them on. It is a good round of round 6 matches in Western Air. It is a good sports fix for you today. Don't forget these results and also our previews on the Friday night sports show. But also we've got a video of these going up each day.
And you can check those videos out by going to our Flow Sports page on Facebook, our new Flow Sports on Facebook page, or also Flow News 24 on YouTube. You can see all the videos there as well. So make sure you do that and download them to your favourite podcast app if you want to do that as well. Well, the Flowman was talking about some big games in SA. Now it's time to cross the border and some big games in Victoria and New South Wales.
Firstly, in Sunraysia, if you're an Oden United fan, you're looking forward to a home game, but you've got the top side Imperials and it's going to be a tough outing. But I think the match of the round is second and third place, Moorabool taking on South Mildura. Those two sides are going to have a really big hit out because at Kenny Park, if Moorabool can get a win here, it gives them a chance of being top of the table at weekends, and same with South Mildura. Very interesting game for these two clubs, which have been at the lower end of the premiership ladder in previous years, so good to see the wheel turning and those two clubs up a little higher. As we head towards the North Central Football League, and I think the match of the round is Donald taking on Charlton. This one at the Donald home deck, and gee, if the Royal Blues needed to get over the Navy Blues, then it's this weekend because they'll keep their finals hopes alive. But Charlton likewise, they're both really playing for that in this round 6 clash. So a huge contest is expected there between those two sides. Some will also be watching the Sea Lake Nandali Wedderburn game as to see just how close Wedderburn can get to the highly fancied Sea Lake Nandali Tigers on their home ground. Of course, they used that for last week's interleague match against Sunraysia. North Central coming out, unfortunately for them, on the losers' side. But Sea Lake Nandali, they'll be expecting to be certainly on the winners' side in this weekend's clash. Heading to the football in the Hume Football League, and I think there's a couple of excellent games to be played this weekend. Certainly Henty and Round Walla. But I'm looking forward to Lockhart playing Osborne. These are two old foes, there's no doubt about it. A lot of folk at Osborne, they'll come in and shop in Lockhart. There's plenty of discussion in the main street that this is an absolute beauty. There will be Lockhart, who are having a really good start to the season and certainly have taken a lot before them since round 1. But Osborne are the side at the top of the table, undefeated. But there is a view out there in the paddocks at Osborne that if they're ever going to get beaten in a clash when they're going really well, it can be against a much lower on the table Lockhart. And this year, Lockhart aren't that far down on the table, so a really good match of football to be played in Hume this weekend. And I reckon the Murray Magpies looking to try and get their first win against the Billabong Crows. The Crows looking to return to some level of form for them. In other competitions, this time I'm going to the Wimmera in Victoria, and again there's some really good matches. Perhaps the pick of them is the Minyip Matoa game against Stawell. We got Stawell on top of the table. Minyip Matoa may be their chance at home at Minyip to inflict Stawell, the Warriors' first loss of the season. That's the way I'm seeing it. I'm going to say it's going to be very close though. But the other match, the Southern Mallee Giants up at Hopeton at home, and they'll fill their little grandstand when they take on the old Horsham D's. They, with the Horsham D's, have had some good record against them, and I think the Southern Mallee Giants, if they want to remain in that top 2 type location on the table with Minyip Matoa pressing, then they certainly need to win these sorts of games at home. So a really important match for the Southern Mallee Giants this weekend in their senior competition in Wimmera football. And finally, if there was a really good round of football in Horsham District, it's got to be this weekend. You get the replay of the 2019 Grand Final, Harrow Balmoral taking on Narrajua Quantong. But then if that isn't enough, you get the rivals of Nadimak taking on Edenhope Apsley, and both of them searching for a win to keep in touch with the top 6. And then if that isn't enough, you've got the Japan Rainbow Stormers at home at Rainbow. They take on Canaiva Lior, and for us here at The Flow, they're 2 of our coverage clubs, so that is going to be a good game of football. The Cougars coming off of a win in their last outing to get their first in Horsham District, and Japan Rainbow needing to find a win after going down to Narrajua Quantong. But this is the game, I reckon, for everybody, is Rapanyip taking on Kalki. The 2 top sides in this competition this year, the Rapanyip side, the Panthers, have been absolutely magnificent magnificent. The keys, though, come into this game against the other wheat paddockers. It's like kind of the Cowkey wheat farmers taking on the Rapagnet barley farmers, if you're catching where this is going. These two sides are going to go absolutely at it, and I think this is going to be the match of the round. And at the end of Saturday night, we might find who is the early favourite for premiership glory in Horsham District. It is a look at what's happening in the sports fix across Victoria and New South Wales, and we're looking forward to the Friday night sports show. You can see this sports fix not only recorded on the radio, but also across Flow Sports on our Facebook page, and also up on our YouTube channel, Flow News 24.
Available and waiting for you to check them out right now. Check out the Flow Man and his nice little blue jacket. He does look kind of cute, really. The Stat Man, he's been going through the AFL selections for round number 10. What are his 9 winners? We're going to find out next.